And thank you for joining for our time and attendance webinar here. We're very fortunate to have Arletta Mills that will be demonstrating for us. And also we have Amber Vernew. She's going to go ahead and take us through kind of the agenda for today. And we will get this reporting out to everybody once it is uploaded to my device here and get that out to everybody that attended. You can share that with your coworkers. And if you would like to see more of an in-depth demo, we can certainly do that a little bit more specific to your organization. And if you have any other questions or concerns or would like some pricing on it, certainly feel free to reach out to me or anybody from our team, and we'll be happy to do that. So Amber, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Jason. Yes, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for attending our webinar today on our time and labor management. So we'll go ahead and get started here. All right, so our agenda for today, Jason kind of already introduced, our presenters, so I won't necessarily have to do that. But we're going to go through just an overview of the time and labor management system within iSolved. And then we're going to go through a demo of the solution. And then at the very end, we're going to have some time for some Q&A. So as we're going through the demo today, if you have questions, please put your questions in the Q&A section. That way, at the very end, we make sure that we get around to everybody's questions. So as we go, don't hesitate to put those in there so we can make sure we get all of your questions answered at the end of the demo today. So here's our pretty faces. Here's, me and Amber Vernew, and then we have Arletta Mills that's on the phone with us. She is one of our solutions consultants, and she'll be the one that will show you iSolved time, labor, and management. So just a couple of, overview features as far as, our time and labor management system, as far as, how it benefits your company. It does ensure, an accurate payroll. There's some effective scheduling in there. And then, at the end of the day, employees always expect and need their payroll to be correct, right? They want to make sure that the time that they're, clocking in and out for, they're getting paid correctly. We do like to make sure that, it is very simple and easy for employees to clock in and out. Time inaccuracies can be, harmful to your bottom line. And then it also ties up resources, right? If your time isn't accurate, employees are having a hard time making sure that they're getting punched in and out. There's a lot of work that has to get done on the back end for you to tie that up to make sure that you can process payroll, correcting punches, doing all of that type of stuff really takes a burden on your HR, team that's doing your payroll. So, you always want to make sure that your time is very accurate and that it is easy for employees to clock in and out. At the end of the day, also too, when you have an outdated time tracking system and hardware, software features, it really makes things complicated. Employees really like timekeeping and time clocks that is very up to date with the times, whether it's, on an actual physical time clock, you still want to make sure that that time clock looks up to date, whether it's on a mobile phone, whether it's on a laptop, a computer, even maybe a tablet. Employees are always looking for, the graphics, the information, everything that kind of looks up to date and is, fast paced. So that's always a big thing that employees are looking for. It makes things nicer. It makes things look prettier for your employees. And then at the end of the day too, being able to manage your time, your attendance, your scheduling. So we're going to go through that today as far as how you're able to do that with our time and labor management system. There is a bunch of, features in there for attendance, whether it's, employees are taking PTO, they're taking time off without pay, whether maybe they're clocking in too early, they're clocking out late, overtime, all of those types of, attendance issues there. We also offer some occurrence tracking within the timekeeping system. And then we have some really nice scheduling features as well within our iSolved time, labor, and management. Just to kind of go through as far as some things that, employees and even companies as yourself are looking for in a time and labor management system. So our features are very rich. We enhance our timekeeping and attendance and scheduling solutions. Consistently, we're always looking to how do we better our timekeeping system for you, for your company, and then also for your employees. The other nice thing is that our time labor management system works, whether it's an employee that's out in the field, they're constantly, maybe going from job site to job site, they work remote, they work in the office, whatever it is, we have a solution for that. And then also too, again, our timekeeping system reduces inefficiencies and errors and allows you to be able to be flexible with tracking time and how you track that time for your employees. So a couple of key features that I like to go through on our time and labor management system is we do have time clocks. We have various options as far as your employees being able to punch, whether it's a time clock, a web. We also offer virtual clocks. We do mobile punching. So with our time clocks, you can use a biometric fingerprint reader. You can use a keypad. You can do swipe cards. You can do badge readers. However it is that you would like for your employees to punch in and out, we have those features on our time clock. Our time clock is also real time. So it is actually something that 100%, as soon as an employee punches at the time clock automatically sends that punch over into the timekeeping system. So there's no waiting, 10, 15, 20 minutes for punches to show up. It is real time and 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything. It's just there. We also have our, web punch that your employees can access, from a laptop, from a computer. There's various different options as far as how they can do that. There's options for like a quick punch when they just first punch, clock in. They don't have to do anything other than just hit a quick punch feature. If you're looking for them to utilize like jobs or labors or tasks that they're doing throughout the day, they can do those on the time clock. They can also do those, via the web as well. On the web, they can also request for time off. They can look at their schedules. They can do schedule swap requests. There's a lot of things that they can do on the web. And then we do have a virtual clock that is a little bit more of a kiosk style. So you can have it up on a tablet. You can have it up on a computer that's maybe a centralized location within, your office, your company, and it always is up and continuously running. That way an employee can come up, they can maybe just type in like a 4-digit PIN and they can punch in and out utilizing that virtual clock. And then we do have our mobile punch option. Through our adaptive employee experience, they can do quick punch. Again, they can do like labor tasks, jobs. And then we also have a couple of different features there with the mobile punching. So we have geofencing capabilities, and Arletta will go through that in a little bit more depth as far as what geofencing is. But basically you set up a fence and you can allow your employees to punch once they, are within inside that fencing capability. And then just a couple of other, key features that are, inside our time and labor management system is we do have a couple of 3 key pieces. We have our attendance, we have our scheduling, and then we have our workforce scheduling. So attendance allows you to create shifts. And then what those do is that those kind of allow you to really just keep attendance on the employees. So it's not necessarily like a full-on scheduling feature if you're just doing attendance, but it's more of, I'm going to create a shift and see if my employee is coming in, late every day, if they're coming in too early every day. Are they leaving early? Are they leaving late? Are they maybe not even showing up for a scheduled shift? So that's really what the attendance is there for. It's to drive whether or not employees are, coming in on time, if that's something that you're looking to track. We do have an actual scheduling piece in there that will allow your employees to maybe do shift swaps, requests for shift swaps. And then it'll also even kind of help you as you're scheduling your employees. Employees can say, I'm unavailable to work on these days at this time. You'll be able to see if your employees are available or unavailable to work, on those days as you're putting together your scheduling. And then last but not least, we also have our, workforce scheduling, which that also allows you as you're building out, some staffing rules. If you know that there's certain times of the day that you're busier than others, it will kind of help you manage those shifts and how many employees you need per shift throughout the day and maybe even the night, depending on what your type of, business is and the hours of operations that you're open. You'll be able to send them notifications to employees about their shifts. So that's kind of the other additional piece that comes along with scheduling if you choose to, or if you need to add that piece into the scheduling feature within the time and labor management system. So at this point, I'm going to turn the time over to Arletta. She's going to go through a really nice demonstration of our time and labor management system. And again, if you have questions throughout that demo, please put those questions in the Q&A section and we'll be happy to answer them at the very end.
Well, wonderful. And good morning, everyone. So let's walk through our product demonstration of time and attendance. So just kind of the level set with everybody where I'm at. I'm actually in our employee experience. So if some of you are not aware of the employee experience, this is where your employees can come in and look at those paycheck stubs and those W-2s. You know, we're in that time of year where everybody wants a copy of their W-2. This is where your employees can come in and see that information. Now, one of the unique things about this is this employee experience is performance ready on any device. So whether they're on a tablet, a mobile device, or a computer, they can access this information. And it's not an app that they put on their phone, it's through the browser. So no matter what kind of mobile device they have, as long as that device has access to the internet, they can look at their information. Now, I personally have this on my cell phone. First time I logged in, I went through Google Chrome and it asked me if I wanted to pin it to my home screen. And I said yes. So although it is on my cell phone and it looks like an app, it's not, it's through the browser. So again, you never have to worry if that app is in the App Store, it's right through the browser. The other thing I like about Google is my cell phone has facial recognition, so it automatically logs me in. So if your employees have a device that has a fingerprint or a code or a facial recognition, they can automatically log right into their employee experience. Now, not only can I come in here and see my paycheck stubs and my W-2s, but my favorite thing to do as an employee, and I'm sure you have employees like me, is to ask for time off. So they can do that right from their device. Now I'm going to open this up. I won't make you all squint through my whole demonstration. But as employees come in here, we're going to be able to see any PTO policies that we might have and how much time do we have available. They're going to be able to see any upcoming request. Maybe their request is still pending. They'll see it here. You can even list your paid holidays. How many of you are asked regularly, hey, are we closed that day, or is that a paid holiday? You can list those and stop those questions. Now, to ask for time off, there's a button right here called time off. And as we come in here, we're going to simply select the policy that we want. One of the things you're going to see here is I have 3 policies. I do have an unpaid policy. A lot of my employers are struggling with, what do I do when my employee runs out of PTO? One of the things I have is I have it set up as an unpaid PTO. So if my employee needs to take time off, they're going to acknowledge that they're not going to get paid for it. Now, you can set any type of limit on your PTO or your vacation or your sick policies. This is all configured around you. But I also want to throw out options because some of my employers do allow their employees to take time off, but it's going to be unpaid, but they still want it to go through an approval process. You have those options with iSoft. For today, we're going to just pick on that PTO monthly. We're going to select a date. And then how much time do you want to allow your employees? 2, 4, 8, maybe let them take them in 15-minute increments. It's up to you as the employer. Now, after this request, Mark is actually going to have 31.32 hours. If he's good with that, he simply hits the submit button. Once he does that, that's going to send that maybe to a supervisor or manager. Maybe you have a 1-step approval or a 5-step approval. Again, we're going to configure iSoft around your company's policies. Now, whether that time off is approved or denied, you can send an email back to the employee that their time has been approved or denied. But if it is approved, then it's going to come over here and it's going to be automatically put on their calendar. So Mark can come in here and see his approved time on a calendar. The other thing you're going to see is Mark can see his schedule. Now, Mark is on a set schedule. He works the same every week. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 to 3, Thursday, 7 to 4. So this is what I call a default schedule, just based off of how you entered an employee. Maybe as you're hiring those new employees, you're marking them in a department or a job. We can build eligibility rules that system says, hey, if this employee works in this department, their set schedule is going to be 7 to 3. Maybe that's your service department. But if you're an office personnel, and we classify you that, we want your schedule to be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, with an hour lunch. We can build in all of these rules, and then through eligibility rules, you're going to automatically be assigned those schedules. Now, some of my employers have rotating schedules. So think if you're in the medical profession, sometimes you are on 3, off 3, on 2, off 2. So that's a 3, 3, 2, 2. We can go out to a 45-day rotation. And then we also have our employers who schedule on demand. It could be different every week. This again is going to be that performance ready on any device. So your employees can come in right from their mobile device and see where they're working. Now, not only can I see where I'm working, but you could leave notes for your employees, what you need them to do as they come in. Again, just making it easier for you. Now, we're also going to look at what ways are there for employees to clock in or out. I do have the ability for your employees to clock in or out through the employee self-service through a quick punch or a detail punch. A detail punch is me telling you maybe what job I'm working on or what department, or maybe just why I'm coming in late, where a quick punch is like walking up to a time clock. Either one of these options is going to capture your IP address or your GPS location. So we always capture where they're at, but now as an employer, do you need to know if that employee was not where they were supposed to be? What we can do is we can set up fences. Fences are just a simple circle on a map that an employee needs to be in so that they may clock in or out. Now, you have different levels of this. Maybe my employee is outside of the circle and I don't want them to be able to punch in at all. We can deny those punches. Or maybe they're outside of the circle, but you want to allow the punch, but just an alert go to your supervisors or managers. Again, this is all configurable to you. And as we simply hit save, it's going to put that punch on the time cards. Now, some of you might have supervisors or managers who have maybe a clipboard, and I'm always thinking construction, landscaping, where you have multiple people showing up at one job site. And so a lot of you might be doing this by paper right now. You have the supervisor, he is checking off who showed up, he's assigning jobs, he's getting his morning started. Now, we don't want to change that process because we understand how important that clipboard is. But now, after the manager or site supervisor has gotten everybody up working, he can actually come in here and he can do what we call a group punch. What happens on a group punch is the supervisor is able to come in here, let me grab that, and tell you, hey, all of these employees showed up to work. He's going to hit save, and then he's going to tell you what time did they show up. So he can simply tell you, hey, they all showed up at 8 a.m. And maybe he's telling you what job they're working on. When he hits save, that punches everybody in. And then he can punch them all out at night. This is going to save you from capturing those timesheets at the end of the pay period. Maybe he's 3 or 4 hours away from your office. And he doesn't have to fax in those timesheets anymore for you to process payroll because you're getting this information electronically. Now, remember, when we're capturing the different labor that our employees are working, whether it's them clocking in or out or supervisors or managers, this allows you into reporting by labor allocation. So if any of you are looking to get labor allocation, where am I spending all my dollars, what departments, what jobs, you have access to that information just by your employees clocking in or out through the system. Now, not only do we have those capabilities of your employees or supervisors clocking your employees in right here through the employee self-service, but we also have physical time clocks. We have everything from walking up, typing in a code, to swiping a badge, to just holding the badge up to the time clock to the biometric finger scanners. We also have our kiosk options. So some of my employers just want a kiosk. They want their employees to go up. They're going to type in a code, a PIN, and they can punch in. Or we can get that detailed punch again so that the employees are actually clocking into the different jobs they're working. Now, of course, all of this time as they're clocking in or out is going to be put immediately on their time cards. What I want to do is I do want to show you here, as my employees are clocking in or out, we're going to be able to see some summaries here. So your employees can easily see how many hours they've worked so far. Maybe you want to show them how many lunches they've taken. They're going to be able to see the different jobs or departments they were working in. And then we can also do things like show your employees how many missing punches they had. Did they come in late? Did they leave late? We can show these. Now, once your employees can see how many times they had a missing punch when they came in late, then we can also assign point values to these alerts. So for mine, I simply have one that says that if my employee comes in late, they're going to get 0.25 of a point. Now, this is something I built into my system. You can build any type of point system you want. But what I've done is I've taken that 0.25 every time an employee is coming in late, and I've told the system, now when my employee reaches 3 points, I need an email to go out. I personally have my email go out to my HR department, my supervisor or manager, and I even send an email to my employees saying, this employee has accumulated 3 points, and this is the level we are at now with our disciplinary scale. Now, again, these points are all configured to your policies. We can build them in however you want. You can even choose if the points expire. I have a 22-year-old who works in a company that has a point value. He's well aware of the point system. He's well aware when those points fall off. So this is something that employees nowadays are expecting. You can even have your employees verify their time cards at the end of the pay period if you would like. It's not required. It's up to you. We've recently added the ability for the employee to object to their time card. Now, they can't just simply say, I object. They have to tell you why they're objecting. So this eliminates those conversations. I told my supervisor that they didn't put in my time. We can add those objections here. You have an audit trail that the employee objected their time card and for the reason why. Now, for some of you, you might be thinking, well, this works great, but I really don't have my employees clock in or out. We can also do things like add records. Maybe they're just coming in and telling you, hey, I worked 8 hours today. Or they can, again, add a punch. And then we have adjustments. So adjustments are those little things. Maybe this employee came in and on this date, they were on call. So they're going to be able to add an on-call, and maybe it's $75 they get for on call. They can send that to you. Maybe this is a supervisor or manager adding this on for you. Again, just think about all those little things that we can add to a time card that makes your life easier, and let iSolve grow with you. Now, everything I've shown you today so far has been from the employee's perspective. One of the great things about this employee experience, though, is that Mark here, he's also a supervisor. So Mark has a tab here that his employees don't have, and it's called Manage. And he's only allowed to do certain things, and I really only have tasks open up for him. Under the task is where Mark can come in here. He can approve time cards and time off requests. Let's look at those time off requests. Now, every time one of Mark's employees asks for time off, Mark gets an email. He knows that people are asking for time off. Now he can come in here and he can look at the employee. And what he's going to see is after this request, this employee is going to have 8 hours of PTO. He has an action button here. He can simply approve it or reject it and hit process. That's going to initiate that email back to the employee. The most important button here, though, is this show button. What happens under the show button is it shows Mark who else is asking for time off. This way, Mark can ensure he doesn't have everybody off the Monday after Super Bowl. I also allow Mark to come in here and approve time cards. So he has capabilities of coming in here, looking at people's time cards and approving them, fixing errors. All of that is done at his fingertips. He can have a calendar. Maybe an employee didn't show up and he needs to come in here and find out, why didn't that employee show up? Well, he's going to be able to see, oh, they asked for time off. So he knows why they're not showing up to work. He can even build out that schedule for those employers who have on-demand scheduling. He can build out that schedule right from his mobile device. Now, again, everything we are showing you right here has been from my employee experience. But now we want to take a look at our administrative view because we didn't forget about you, admin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to log in as my administrative view. And this view is probably going to look very familiar to most of you on the call right here. So as I log in right here, we're going to add some functionality under our employee self-service. What functionality we're going to add is my dashboard. Now, under my dashboard, again, depending on what access you have, we're going to add some things. One of the things I have as an admin is I am the backup to all my supervisors. So if my supervisor is out on vacation, I am also copied on all of those PTO requests. I can come out here. I have a nice calendar. The difference with my calendar is I see everybody in the company, where a supervisor or manager only sees the employees who are assigned to them. I can see who's asking for time off. When I'm looking at those pending requests, again, I'm going to see that same information that the employee or the supervisor did of how much estimated time they have. And again, I have the ability to approve or reject it right here. Also on my dashboard, I'm going to be able to do that alert monitoring. And really, again, alert monitoring is specific to your company. You don't have to have the alerts that I have. I have things like I want to know if my employees are approaching overtime. So I can see that right here on the screen, but I'm also able to see who their supervisor or manager is. So I'm able to call that manager and say, hey, Adam's going to hit overtime at 4 o'clock today. What are we going to do? Did you approve that? Or are we getting them out here early? Of course, we can see those in late. And if you're in California, you need to know if somebody didn't take a lunch. We can alert you of those things. And we can also automatically apply those meal penalty breaks. So again, as you can see, these alerts are specific to your company. We do have the ability for an employee punch status here. I think this is really important if you are in the office and you get that panic call. I got to talk to Cole. It's an emergency. You can come in here. You can see Cole is clocked in. Where is he working and who's he working for? So you know who to contact to get that emergency call to. We even have the ability for you to come in here and look at people's hours and make sure we're just glancing, and also to see if the employee, supervisor, or manager approved those time cards. And again, these are set to what's important to you. You don't have to have these features. Now, the final step in this process is how do we get this information to payroll processing? We're going to make your life a lot easier. When it comes time to process payroll, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to come in here and lock down my time cards. This prevents any manager or supervisor from making any changes. We will have reports here you can run. I will tell you that anything I can run here, I can also see on my dashboard. I'm a dashboard person, but some of you are report people. We want to give you the information in the way you can receive it. Once we have these reports the way we want, we simply hit commit time cards and all of our time comes to our time entry grid. Now, if I come over here and I'm looking at these hours and they just don't seem quite right, you have the option to come in, uncommit those time cards, fix them, and recommit them as many times as you want. Nothing you're doing here is set in stone until you process the payroll. Now, once you have these time entry templates the way you want, the rest of your payroll processing stays the same. We're not going to change anything else about it. We're just going to make it easier for you to get that timekeeping to your time entry grid accurately. So we hope you've seen the power behind iSolve timekeeping. Do we have any questions in the chat?
We do actually. So this is a good one. If our company uses multi-factor authentication, will the biometrics from one's phone still work?
Yes. So with the employee experience, there is the multi-functionality factor already built into that. And that's a really nice feature. The other nice thing about that is not only do you have that extra layer of security, but then your employees can make their passwords forever passcodes. So it really has all of that features for you.
All right. Yep. That was our only question.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much. That was great.
You're welcome.
Amber, anything else to add?
Nope, I am good. I just want to make sure. Yep, I don't see any other questions, but no, I'm good. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, great. So what I'll do is save this recording and get this out to everybody that registered. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If you've been on these webinars before, you know we do these once a month. So we focus on a product a month. And so look out for the next product. We'll be sending that out to your emails. If you are not getting our emails or our marketing, also let me know that, because I'll have to put you on the list if you're not, and just make sure that everybody's getting everything that they need. We do have another question. If I didn't register, but I am here, can I get a copy? Yes, Norma, I will get you out a copy. No problem there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.